And to discuss this further, I'm joined by Eric Walberg from Toronto. He's the author of Postmodern Imperialism, and his new book is called The Canada-Israel Nexus. Thank you for joining us, Eric. It almost sounds like a cliche, but the idea of the great game or the new great game 150 years after the term was coined, is it still relevant today?
Absolutely. In as much as the world is spinning, it's still a geopolitical world. And the Great Game was called that because it was between Russia and Britain in Central Asia, in Afghanistan and India. Now it's shifted slightly, it's broadened, and it's taking in other nations as well, other big imperial powers. Of course, in the first place, the United States, which became the really sole world superpower with the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. So this new great game really was inaugurated in 1991, and the new controlling kind of the leading actor, the leading player is the United States. Russia is out of the game, and Britain is out of the game.
You're talking about Russia being out of the game, and originally the idea was for more regional influence or controlling more territory, creating Afghanistan as a buffer between the British Empire and the Russian empires. What is the current so-called great game being contested over?
Well, you see, the Central Asia is really ground zero for the world, because the major landmass in the world is Eurasia. And Central Asia is at the heart of that. It also has a lot of energy resources, a lot of minerals, and it's the crossroads, the Silk Road that joins China with Europe. That's traditionally what it's been, and that goes back for even 4,000 or 5,000 years. So you can't say that this is passé. Now, and I wanted to correct myself, Russia's not completely out of the game. We'd have to have a long talk to explain the way the Great Game shifted into a battle against communism. And with the collapse of communism, Russia became very weak. But it's still a powerful anti-imperialist force.
There's also China, which has this grand project of reviving the Silk Road. And you have Turkey with historical ties to Central Asia. Can you expand on the role of China and Turkey here?
Yes, well, China, of course, this goes back thousands of years, its role. And now with its new kind of mix of communist capitalism, a kind of state-controlled capitalist development, it is becoming really more powerful. I would say, in a sense, it's more powerful economically even than the U.S. today because of its consolidation around a strong state that is able to keep the interests of the people close enough to it to legitimize it. Now, this has been a little bit of a rocky period for Turkey. But over Syria, there were I think, some serious miscalculations that created a very serious disturbance to this positive future. But I think this is re-establishing now. I'm very optimistic that the new relations with Kazakhstan which helps improve the relations with Russia. That's a wonderful trio, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Turkey. So I'm really hopeful that this will consolidate in the next few years.
Eric Walberg, fascinating stuff. Thank you for joining us from Toronto.